Hello and welcome to Mountain Valley Today. I'm David Holt, and today I am so excited to have my good friend Ricky Harcrow, who is the president of the DeKalb County Commission. You've done that for a year or two, right?
Year or two, yes, a year or two.
I believe we were talking just a moment ago, and it's in the neighborhood of 20 plus years?
20 plus, yes, sir.
Is that being on the commission, or is that being the chair?
Well, that's
or president?
That's being on the commission and president too. So when I'm through with this, I'll have 24 years, longest serving. I've got the honor of being the longest serving DeKalb County Commissioner in the history of the county.
Wow.
So that makes you wonder about that.
Well, I'm going to say that makes you wonder that is a great legacy to leave behind. I don't know that anybody coming up today would be able to even come close to achieving that.
Well, it's been a privilege for me to serve, and the people of my county, this community where I grew up, have been so gracious to me, and I'm just very appreciative of it. And as I get older, I look back, and there've been a few things I'd change, but not much. And so anyway, I'm looking forward to serving out my term, and it's yet to be seen what I'll do next time.
Well, I'll tell you this, my daughter was home a couple weeks ago for spring break, and we broke out the old DVDs. You know, actually is the VHS tapes, you know. We like to never found a player that would work. And we were watching an event back, what they have at Freedom Fest in Rainsville. And we were filming one of our kids, and here comes you and Miss Linda walking across my screen.
Good gracious! Oh, I want to see that.
You hadn't changed a bit.
No, good. That's what Mother said. So.
You know, it scares me a little bit to think about old home movies and pictures that are out there roaming around.
It's terrifying. Yeah.
Well, we certainly did get a kick out of it, and we appreciate you coming and being part of our show today.
Thank you so much.
Lots of good things going on in DeKalb County. One of the things we mentioned before we came on the air is just a annual cleanup event. So let's talk a little bit about that and what the process is and how long have you been doing that?
Well, we've been doing it for probably 10 years or longer. Usually, when we first started, our garbage, our vendor, the one we have the contract with, like Air Disposal or somebody like that, they would put out dumpsters in different areas of the community. But it got to where that people would dump it on the ground and on private property. That presented the issue, and the longer we got into that, why there were liability issues that we didn't know anything about, because somebody got
people liability things in this day and
time. It is, and so we worked out a system with the landfill down the valley from Fort Payne, and they're going to open the landfill, they're going to set dumpsters on the outside at a designated area at the landfill, and the first weekend on Saturday and Sunday, the second weekend on Saturday and Sunday, and the third weekend, which is Easter Sunday, Easter weekend, those will be open for people to carry what they want to throw away down there in those dumpsters 2 days. The first weekend, second weekend, and third weekend.
Of April.
Of April. Mm-hmm. That's beginning tomorrow on Saturday. Won't cost anything, and we're going to pay for that. But the reason that the dumpsters are not out is because of just the liability issue and the abuse that went on. And so that's the reason. But we're happy that we can provide that. But I see down the road, it may just be an issue that may have to go away just because of the liability that exists. And so we hope people will respect what we have left. And just to remind you, there's going to be officers that watch. You know, it amazes me the people that would go down in the dumpster and take out what you put in. I mean, that's
a true dumpster diving.
That
right?
is exactly what I'm saying. And That's the liability. If he were to get a leg broke on private property, get hurt, somebody fall, I mean, it's a nightmare. And so, anyway, that's where we're at with that. But the first 3 weekends in April will be our opportunity to throw away what you don't want to keep, and hopefully somebody else won't get it out and carry it.
I think that's the true meaning of one man's trash is another man's treasure.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. I do.
So if you want to throw something away, that's on Saturday and Sunday, the first 3 weekends in April at the DeKalb County landfill.
It is, right.
And it's not that hard to find. If you're coming, get off the interstate at Collinsville, came over there past the little gas station, there's a sign. You just follow the sign right up in there.
And now it'll be on the outside of the gate, but there'll be a sign there directing you where to go at a place prepared for those dumpsters out there.
Again, we apologize for it being one specific location, which happens to be the landfill. But like you say, with liability issues, we've come to that. It's just a sad day in our society that we have gotten to that. I know it's not as convenient for somebody that may live north of the county, north end of the county, but it is an opportunity for you to throw stuff away. A great time to do some spring cleaning.
Right, and with a new contract coming up in July, probably we will continue to have 1 weekend a month to where they will be open continuously all year.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that we're talking about, and hopefully we can do that. And it won't be just the month of May, but it'll be 1 weekend a month all through the from March till October.
Okay.
And so I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
I still think that's a good idea because many people can go on maybe Saturday or Sunday. They can't go during the week.
Right.
And so that would give an opportunity to do that. So we'll let you know how that turns out.
Well, one of the things I know that you're very involved in is working with our state legislative body in Montgomery. I've been several times when I was on city council. I've been several times as an educator. You always seem to run into you down there. And that's a good thing because you're in Montgomery making sure our needs, our desires, the things we are needing from state government being brought back to DeKalb County is there. And I think that's one of the reasons you've been so successful in serving so long on the DeKalb County Commission.
Well, it's important to do that. I mean, I have to stay in the office, but Montgomery is a vital part of that operation, and it takes a while to get your feet on the ground to understand where to go, how to go about it, who to see, and who to work with. And I served as president of the Alabama County Commissioners Association for a long time. I still serve on the legislative council, legislative board, and I'm director. I'm on board of directors of the National Association of Counties. Me and one other individual from Alabama serve on that. But where all that comes into play is that what we have to do through the Alabama County Commissioners Association is that, let me just give you an example. Right now, when we keep state prisoners, they pay us $1.25 a day to feed them. That's our fee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been that since 1970s. Now there's a bill co-sponsored by Senator Livingston, by the way, that will increase that to not a lot, but probably double that. And that will, I mean, we spend nearly $100,000 a year just feeding prisoners. Mm-hmm. And that comes out of our jail budget. And so anyhow, we're working on that bill, and we're hoping to get that passed. And I think we will, because that's so important to every county in the state, more especially rural counties. And we're considered a rural county. Now, the 5 major counties like Madison, Montgomery, Tuscaloosa County, Montgomery, and Mobile, mm-hmm. That's what I'll call play money to them. I mean, that doesn't really affect them. But the rural counties, and 2/3 of our counties in Alabama are classified as rural counties. And when you take $60,000 to $100,000 out of a budget to a rural county, it really knocks a hole, and that's especially in the sheriff's budget. And so we've got to look at some kind of increase in those kinds of things, because those increases are natural. If you were still making today what you were making in 1979, you'd be looking for something else to do. And those things are just common sense questions and common sense answers. And then to index that, to let it go up maybe 2% every other year, something like that. But that's all in this bill, and we're looking at that. I mean, it's not passed yet. Something could come up but I can't imagine who would oppose it, because it's so important. But you never know who will oppose something, because of one clause or something. So.
Well, and I think that helps educate the public, which is what we're trying to do today. I mean, it just seems crazy to offer $1.25 to feed someone for an entire day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just,
it is.
That's so unrealistic. You can't even go to a fast food establishment for $1.25 anymore.
Right. And of course, we house federal prisoners, and that's $47 a day, but meals are into that, and we're going to have to negotiate something else in that, because it's come to that point.
Well, I know another thing that has been very on a lot of people's mind on social media is the gas tax that they're proposing to money for infrastructure for our roads. Now, we've talked before about how little we get into DeKalb County to maintain our roads without special grants and things from the legislative body. So talk a little bit about what that tax on 10 cents on a gallon, is that what it is, 10 cents?
When it's fully implemented, 10 cents.
In the long term, when it's all done. So talk about what does that mean to those of us in DeKalb County, and those dollars that could come back to us, and how it could benefit us.
Okay. We've tried to do this for the last 2 or 3 years. And now it seems that everybody came to the conclusion that we're going to have to do something. We have approximately between 1,700 and 1,800 miles of county maintained roads. Nobody comes close to that except Baldwin, Coleman, and maybe one other. And when this gas tax is fully implemented, and let me say this, that we supported it. When this is fully implemented, now in October, 6 cents will be the level that it will begin at. But the general public needs to understand that all that 6 cents doesn't come back to DeKalb County. 66% of that 6 cents goes to the state. 8% goes to municipalities. That leaves 25% for all 67 counties. 55% of that 25% is divided by population. 45% is divided equally. So, let the wheels turn a minute. When it's fully implemented, it will give us about $1.25 million, 1.25 million in new money after 2020. So that's about twice as much as we have now. Each commissioner in our area has about $210,000 to spend in their district on gas tax money. You can spend that in a day and a half. Our money is earmarked. I used to be very critical of that. I've changed my mind on that over the years because I think that it gives more accountability to where that money goes. We've got money that we can't spend on other projects. People talk about property tax. Well, not a dime of that goes on the road.
Right.
That all goes to schools. And so gas tax is what we have to spend on it. So with the federal side of it, we get about $400,000 a year, but we have to spend that money. It's earmarked for major and minor collectors, like the mountain gaps. That's usually where we spend that. And we've got two mountain gaps that are shut down now because of the flooding, Wade Gap and Tutwiler Gap. And so, that's going to cost a lot of money to fix. And so when all of this is fully implemented, it's going to give us about $400,000 or maybe a little better for each commissioner to work with in his respective district. That is not still a lot of money because of just the escalation of the prices. And Georgia did this 3 years ago. Mississippi did it 2 years ago. Tennessee's already done it. Florida. And, here we sit with a situation that, that is just unworkable. So we had to do something that was coming. Now, let me just say this also. Everything we do in an economic way is tied to infrastructure. Infrastructure. Part of this money is going to go for the dredging of Mobile Bay. Now, somebody said, well, what's that got to do with us? It's got to do everything with us. Because let me explain to you with one example. Last meeting, we gave Valley Joist, which is a big employer in our area, a 20-year tax abatement. Well, when you go to talk to somebody about a new industry coming in, you know what the first thing they ask you? First thing they ask you, you be here at 7:30, and all you folks out here, if you're not going to give us a 20-year tax abatement, take a hike. I mean, they won't even talk to you. I mean, that's the first step. You know what the second one is? Infrastructure. How do we get in and out? About the infrastructure. We were about to lose Valley Joist. That would have took 2,000 high-paying jobs right out of our community right here. Now, here was the problem. They didn't have room to expand. They had just a lot of issues. They could have went to North Carolina, Mississippi, and we were about to lose them. The day after Governor Ivey signed this infrastructure plan, they signed it just like that. Now, that's how important that was. And that not only kept what jobs we had, but it also added between 50 and 60 new jobs to that. So that's how important that is. And the reason for that is dredging of Mobile Bay. Do you know now all of the car manufacturers, they have to export them from somewhere else. When this is done, they can go to Mobile Bay and do it. Go to Savannah, New Orleans now. They can go to Mobile now, just down the road. That's how important it is. But not only that, our steel products from right here in Fort Payne, shipped out of Mobile. So that's how important that is. And I want to tell you something. Mr. Ledbetter, Mr. Livingston, and 80 of the legislators signed on to this bill. And it was one of those things that was necessary. And I don't want to pay any more for gas. Nobody does. I don't. But, there comes a time when what we've been using is obsolete. And that's the way it's been with us. And so now there is maybe some light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not going to happen overnight. Right. You're not going to fix in a year what hadn't been fixed in 30 years. Yeah. It just doesn't work like that. The wheels move too slow. And another thing about that is that now we've got to figure out what we want to do, how we want to do it, and who we want to do it with. We have to find contractors that can do it. And this is not just us. This is every county in the state of Alabama that has to do this. And so I'm very appreciative of the work that's been done. I'm very appreciative of the process that we had to go through. It was very argumentative at times, but we have the propensity to think that all tax is bad. But I want to tell you today that our livelihood depends on the tax we pay. And I can assure you, somebody said, well, we need to use it right. I've got living proof, and you can pull it up on the internet, that we do use it right. There's auditors that are right there every day that will see that you used it right.
Yeah.
And if you doubt that, go down there and sit with them.
Because they're going through it with a fine
there you
tooth
go.
comb,
Not just one auditor, 6 auditors. That's the reason they stay a year behind all the time. And but let me tell you something about that too. Let me tell you how good of an audit we've had. I've been in office total 30 years. Since I've been on the commission, we have not had one single finding. Not one. Now, a lot of things I'm not proud of about me, but that record, not another county in the state has that record. Not one. You check it out. It's public knowledge. Not one has the record that we have. Not one finding, not one dime was spent out of place. Now, we have some difficulty with the process sometimes, but when you explain to them why you did this, what you did this, and we've got an administrator that's out of this world and an office staff that's out of this world, and I shudder to think where they would be with them, but the buck stops back here with me. Mm-hmm. And when that goes awry, then everything goes awry. But I can assure you that it's a matter of public record. We have not had one finding, and I couldn't be more proud of that record.
Well, it just goes to great
Now,
leadership.
I've talked a lot, and you haven't had a chance to say it.
That's what the purpose is. We want you here to share with us. The stuff you're sharing is very important to our listeners. It's information. Sometimes people make assumptions by what they see on social media that may or may not be a fact.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information, but there's a lot of misinformation too.
That's exactly right. We do appreciate what you're doing, and we know how expensive it is. And another piece of this is you're looking at DeKalb County as a whole.
Have to. Right.
And lots of times people are concerned with their little piece of that puzzle.
Yeah.
And to make decisions for the good of the whole is not always easy to do or popular.
Yeah, that's the truth, yes.
So we do appreciate what you're doing. Some more things going on in the DeKalb County Commission. Anything good you want to share with us?
Well, one thing that's always good, I work with 4 good men. We have never had a crossword. Here's another thing you'll never find. In almost 12 years, we have never had a divided vote on our commission. Can you imagine that?
I cannot imagine that. That is amazing.
That's another thing. Now, it's not that we don't have disagreements. We do that, but we work that out. And all those gentlemen, and I use that word not loosely. They're gentlemen, and they will work with you. They will work for you, and we have not had a divided vote in all these years. I mean, that's a matter of public record. We have not had an executive session in years and years and years. That's how public and transparent our business has been. And so that's a good part of that. One fella can mess up a lot. Don't tell me that's not so. I saw it. When I was president of the Alabama County Commissioners Association, I tried to visit every county and attend one meeting during all that year. And I want to tell you, I saw some things that made me shudder. I mean, it was embarrassing. And I'm just telling you that I'm thankful for the men I work with. I'm thankful for the staff I have. They're so good to me, and just like everybody else in this community, they've been so respectful of me, and I'm just proud to be a part of it. Been here all my life, and I'm gonna stay here and be buried right over yonder. So.
Well, we hope that's a long time from now. A long time from now. We do appreciate all that you do. Appreciate your willingness to serve. As an elected official, that's not something just everybody will do.
Yeah, and it's more difficult now than it's ever been, I'm sure.
Yes. I've lived through that. I appreciate fine men and women who are willing to serve and be servants to our citizens in our community. It takes a special person to do that, and you've had an excellent track record. But I do want to say, again, we appreciate your leadership out of the county commission. You have been a man of character and integrity. I've seen you for many years. Just like the video that I have of you walking by, you attend so many different events. How in the world do you keep your calendar in order and know where you're supposed to be?
I've got 3 girls that remind me of it every day. They're down there. When I walk up, the first one will ask me, remember what you got to do, and then the second one will remind me, and then the third one will remind me. And so it's not an easy task. Were it not for them, I would be in a world of trouble, but they're so gracious.
You got to have good help.
Good help.
And I'm glad somebody keeps you organized and where you're supposed to be.
They do.
Enjoying grandkids and stuff?
Having a new grandbaby, Rosser Clayton Harcrow. He is just, of course, he's the best looking baby I ever saw. You know, I mean.
Listen, I got a granddaughter. I need to show you a picture.
Yeah, and then I've got 2 granddaughters, and I'm just so proud of them. And it's just, it's a blessing to have them. And I wondered, you know, I was the best boy Mother had, and I was the best grandson my granddaddy had. And so you know, I've come to realize just exactly what that is, and I know that everybody else thinks his crow's the blackest. You know, I mean that's an old saying.
Well, Mr. Harcrow, it is a pleasure always to sit down and talk with you. We appreciate your time today. We appreciate your knowledge and your information. And most importantly, we appreciate the man of integrity that you are.
You're so very kind to say that, and I thank you and Mr. Blevins and all the other here at the staff at Mountain Valley for all that you do. Y'all do an exceptional job, and I thank you, and I know our community appreciates it.
Well, thank you so much for your kind words. And thank you for listening. Hope you'll tune in again next time to Mountain Valley to Date. Until then, I'm David Holt, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, folks. This is Andy White down here at Bobby Ledbetter's Twin City in Fort Payne, Alabama. I want to invite everybody to come out to our new location. We're at 1411 Glen Boulevard, right where you turn to go on Airport Road. We've got plenty of inventory for you to choose from. I got cars, trucks, vans, sport utility vehicles of any make and model. Come down here and visit us. Let us see what we can do for you. If you got some slow credit, I've got some banks that'll take care of that. We've got great financing, got a great selection of cars. Y'all come down here and see us.
Don't take the first deal that comes along when you can do better at BobbyLedbetter.com and Twin City Used Car Sales, located at 1411 Glen Boulevard in South Fort Payne.
At Donahue Chevrolet, we have over 500 new and used cars in stock. In fact, we have one of the largest selections of Tahoes in the state. We have so many, you could call us the King of Tahoes. And right now, get $10,000 off all 2019 Tahoes. Fort Payne is located a short 45 minutes from downtown Chattanooga, and our no-hassle, transparent sales approach makes it easy to find the car, truck, or SUV you are looking for. Google King of Tahoes to check out the deals at Donahue Chevrolet.
Building your dream home is one of the great joys in life. At First Southern State Bank, we know construction and mortgage financing, putting today's low rates to work for you. As you and your family move closer to the completion of your new home, we know that your home is where memories are made and families grow stronger year after year. At First Southern State Bank in Rainsville, Scott Kirk stands ready to tailor the right construction loans to meet your needs, along with our staff of experienced loan professionals. Drop by to share your dreams with us today in Rainsville. First Southern State Bank in Rainsville, all the bank you'll ever need.